Walk round the compound, see some pretty tigers. Walk round the compound. Walk round the compound. Walk round the compound.
I just checked the temperature. It's 100 degrees out right now. We're about an hour away from sunset. And it's almost October. Why, Texas? Why you gotta be like this? Hello, all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Lemurs, I have not done a good enough job of showcasing your talents. Oh, that's right. You like to hang out with them, don't you? I don't know what this one's name is, but she's like the last of the original chickens. Like the original, like, well-behaved, don't climb and poop on everything chickens. And she likes to spend time around the lemurs because, I don't know, it's like sometimes like a grape or a pea snap will make its way from the inside of the enclosure to the outside. That's rude. Hi. Hello. Ooh. So. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. They're like, no. No. Why is what's going on over here?
He has to pull his meat in.
He has to pull his meat in?
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to? What's the matter?
There's like 1 inch left. It just have to make 1 inch and then you're free.
Oh boy. Oh, lackey. Alright. Got it pushed in. You're a good boy. Okay. See, the thing, and he would have done that with or without me being present. But yeah. Had to put the old pausaroo, and then needed both hands and all of my senses just to do just like a quick little, just kind of like tuck tuck and he's a good boy. Oh, hey. Just got done. Not just, but earlier. Watched that amazing Packers victory over the New Orleans Saints. The Nowlin Saints. Jordan Love leading the team. Tying an all-time franchise high fourth quarter comeback for most points overcome. They went into the fourth quarter. The score was 17-0. New Orleans. I was watching that game, and it was like, yeah, this is a bummer, but you know, it's a young team, it's a new team, it's a rebuilding year. It's not a conference game, thank goodness. So I was already kind of like making amends. Just like, yeah, there's this, hi. All of those little kind of things that you tell yourself, like, like you justify why it's not as bad as it's whatever. Which is a healthy thing to do. That's a healthy thing to do. If you let yourself fall into the just like, oh, which sometimes sports fans will do, you run the risk of becoming one of those viral videos of dudes just like flipping out and just like beating the ever living shit out of their TVs. Which I gotta say, those are always kind of funny. Usually get a handful of those every season. Just like it's the fourth quarter. It's like there's 12 seconds left in a game. And just there's some fan, just a guy. And he's wearing like an ill-fitting jersey. Maybe he's got a little bit of a weight issue. And he's a little bit tipsy. You could tell he's been tipping a few back. He's been enjoying the game, having himself a few beverages. And then the game that could go one way, and he's standing up and he's waiting for, there's either going to be glory, delicious glory on one side, or soul-crushing defeat on the other side. I hear you, Slade. Yeah, you're being very cute. So he's got his guts just kind of, and he's just kind of a little bit of sway, and he's, you could just, he's mumbling, just, come on, Bills, come on. And then the game doesn't go how he wants it to go. They lose. And then Mount Vesuvius just erupts. Oh! And it's like, I've seen the people punching their TVs. I've seen the Zangief from Street Fighter double leg drop onto TVs. Pick up an item and throw it at a TV. Probably my favorite. Nice little potato. Nice little potato. Oh my gosh. Probably my favorite. And I'm not naive enough to think that there aren't probably a number that are staged or fake that make their way through. Because, it's like whatever you can do to get clicks, sure. There's a lot of, trolling, a lot of stuff that gets put on the internet is trolling, it's rage bait. I get it, but I know that with those, there's definitely a few real ones. Because people take this stuff seriously. When again, it's like sadly there was a fight at a game earlier this season where a fan died. One guy punched another guy in the head and had a medical episode, and he died over a football game. Really stupid stuff. And then, but if you're one of those like, and that's why I don't like sports, and then you're like, oh, you just are you float above the rest of us, don't you? It's like that Jim Gaffigan, the McDonald's bit, where it's like everyone has their own version of McDonald's that they like. And just because you don't eat McDonald's, like literally McDonald's, doesn't mean you don't have a McDonald's. Everyone's got a McDonald's. Besides, on a sociologic level, I do think that sports are actually a much healthier outlet for people's innate desire for conflict, for tribal-based conflict. I think it's something that's kind of like wired into our DNA. And it's basically, look, if this is something that's going to be a part of us, it's probably better if we do something in a little bit more kind of controlled and sanctioned way. So that we're not basically, because what it used to be, I'm not even talking about like, gladiator days. Like, no, what it used to be was basically like one village would be like, yeah, they've got a bunch of grain and they suck. Those guys are dicks. Let's go kill a bunch of them. That's what people just used to do. And then the rest of the village is like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do some push-ups first. Let's do some warm-ups. Hi, boys. Hello. But anyway, my favorite, like, NFL fan freak out video online. I think it was a Steelers fan. It was a Steelers fan, which Heidi's a big Browns fan, and I guess that kind of makes me a bit of a Browns fan too. So you know what? Screw those guys. Couldn't have happened to a better bunch of fellas. But there was a Steelers fan. Again, the same kind of thing, where it was just like some dude, you know, like at some point in his 30s. It's always some dude in his 30s, probably got maybe a little bit of this going around, you know, maybe losing a bit of hair, because you know, wear the baseball cap, because yeah, you know, those guys like losing their hair and maybe they got a little bit of stuff going on and everything. Not like me. I'm charmingly self-aware about it, though. I don't try to shy away from it. I lean into it. But it was this dude. And the Steelers, they broke his heart. Oh, you hate to see it. The Steelers broke his heart. And he was, standing up and like, so he's like, the guy is like standing up, he's watching the game on the wall right here. And then there was a room that was adjacent to where he was standing. And you could tell he was like a little, he's just like, and like, he's like, no, he's like, watching the game. He just like walks into the other room. And you could tell, like, so there was some plastic sheeting and there was like drywall stuff. So you could say like, oh, they're probably remodeling that room. And he comes in with a small ladder, you know, between like a large ladder and just like a little footstool kind of thing. Maybe one of those, like a 4 foot ladder kind of thing. And he just comes in, he just stumbles and just starts smashing the TV with his ladder, just drunkenly, angrily. So it's like anger, like somewhere between anger and like I want to cry, that type of anger, and drunk, probably well into like, yeah, like into the upper teens, maybe into like the 20s of beers. Oh, Prince of the Leaves. There was a little bit. There was a brief moment that we had. Prince of the Leaves. Soupy. This is one of those things too. It's one of those things. I know sometimes people will comment like, he spent the whole time talking about sports ball. Okay, notice I'm not. I'm actually talking about viral videos of like fans that are taking it a little bit too seriously and breaking their own property, which I think is hilarious. And I think that has a lot of universal appeal. You don't have to be a sports fan to appreciate. You don't have to be a sports fan to appreciate an obsessed fan breaking their own stuff because the sports ball game didn't go the way they wanted it to. Come on, that's funny. That's funny. And a lot of times we'll like, oh, all of this is so staged and it's so fake. Not necessarily. There's a lot of different times. There's plenty of times where it's like, if you just have a relative that just gets really animated during sporting events, that can be kind of a fun thing to just like get like a video of. And families take videos of each other. They'll do stuff like that. So then it's like someone's brother, someone's cousin, someone's uncle, whatever. Watching football with Heidi's brother, especially if it's like Ohio State Buckeyes football, is pretty entertaining. And I'm not like again, it's one of those things like Heidi's big Buckeyes fan. So again, it's like I'll go like I'll be like, hey, go guys, sure, when they're on, and they're not playing the Badgers. That's a whole different thing. But whenever like the times where her brother Brian, her older brother Brian, oh hide. Jesus H. Christ, hide. It's one of those guys. He's got a big mustache. But he's got like the mustache. He's just mustache, chops, no goatee, just mustache and chops. Just he definitely very like horseshoe bald, glasses. He's like owned a construction company for the last like I think like literally like 40 years. So that like just picture that guy. And he's big and he's up on his feet. He's oh! Oh Jesus H Christ Hyde, because he calls Heidi Hyde. Do you see that Hyde? Oh Jesus! And he's up on his feet. And there's a fun energy to that. Oh! But it's like that's a fun energy to be around, because don't think that like, well, if it goes up that far, then it always, I've seen him when they're not doing well. I see it when he's like, that's this. Oh, you know what? That's like if it doesn't go well, he's like, that's disappointing. Like that's as far as it goes. But when they're doing well, he's basically doing cartwheels. That's fun. So I could certainly see. I think I actually have taken video of him losing his mind. Also because like I kept on like pausing. Like there was like a game, wasn't even an Ohio State game, but I just kept on pausing. Or like I got it right to like we watched like this really exciting game that had like a buzzer beater finish kind of thing. And then we're like, Brian, get in here. And like right as the ball it was like a Hail Mary kind of thing. It was a college ball. It was years ago. And like right before the ball like landed in the end zone, I just went like, pause. And then, and he was just like, what happened? What happened? There may have been a camera on during that. Hi. So and I only say that only to illustrate, like, whoa. Hi, Firebug. It's believable and it's plausible, I think, for a lot of those videos. Now, I bet that, again, not saying that there's not fakes that make it through. There's probably people like, hey, we're going to get rid of that TV anyway. Let's just make a viral thing. I'm sure that happens. I'm sure. But the idea that like, oh, if you have a relative or a friend who like gets animated, sure, there's going to be a camera on them, and then every once in a while you'll get one of them that like just completely loses their mind, and no kidding, like breaks their own stuff. And then the other thing too, it's like sometimes you can tell whether the acting, like if the people are acting like, oh man, what'd you do that for? And then there's other times where it's like, dude, like, what did you do? And then the guy's like, cause of Colts. Like, Colts, they did it. They did it. Cause of the Colts. Oh. You wonder. You know what? I mean, like, I applaud those videos because I'm sure a couple of them were, at least you hope. You at least hope that maybe one was that person's rock bottom. Something that like they were drunk, they got emotional, they did something crazy, and then it like got shared, it went viral. Like Bleacher Report is like, take a look at this douchebag, it's just, You're basically just like like the guy for like and really for like an afternoon. Because sports news, it just keeps on cycling whenever you're in the middle of a season. But then, of course, that guy's family, that guy's friends, they're just like, man, yeah, you know, Terry. Look at this cutie. Look at this cutie doing math problems. Solving some equations. Nice. That's how tigers do math. But then you got to think that maybe someone actually, you know, they use that moment and maybe the embarrassment or the shame to be like, you know what, I've been kind of like a bit of a drunk hothead who gets aggressive on external things because maybe I'm actually like I have not been like dealing with stuff in my own life. Maybe that was the catalyst for them going to get help. That would be nice. You know, I look at that, I think of it like that could be a nice thing. That could be a positive way to look at some of that stuff. Not to mention, it's also hilarious. Sorry, it just is. How many folding tables? How many folding tables had to suffer in the snowy drifts, the drifting snowbanks of northern New York? How many tables? People who know. People who don't know, just, you gotta try not to, don't eat a lot before you Google. It's just, if you're a table, if you love tables at all, you know, be like, I'm more of a chair guy, like never been a fan of tables, like that's fine. Just, it's not for the faint of heart what they do to tables in the snowy drifting areas of northern New York. But again, it's like so much of that is born out of just years of pain these franchises have inflicted on like large groups of people. And it becomes like this is how we get through the suffering, is that we basically just like do untrained pro wrestling moves. You know how much training that like pro wrestlers, because it's performance, it's a form of performance theater, and they do oftentimes, like you're talking about people who do like hundreds of shows a year of sports acrobatics in the hopes that like, oh, you know, like we don't get injured. Takes a lot of training and determination to become a legitimate pro wrestler. Or you could be in a parking lot in Buffalo after having about 17 schlitzes, standing on top of a bus, and then one of your buddies, you know, like just is like, you can see they're down at the bottom, just like spraying just lighter fluid on a you know, old card table, and just wait, hold on. I don't know Buffalo accents. It's kind of more of a Boston thing, but you get the picture. One of the goofy ways that they talk over in the Northeast. Get a load of this guy. He's from Wisconsin. He talks weird, huh? Yeah. Oh, he says like Wisconsin. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paulie. This guy talks weird. Yeah, well, he says like a boot. Look at him. He talks weird. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But yeah, you could either train really hard, because yeah, that's, you hear about these, like, you know, actual WWE, WCW, WWF, you know, pro wrestling superstars said, like, you know, like they work with like legit trainers for like 6 months to a year before they ever actually went onto a mat. And sometimes it's like they have to do that in order to actually work with other guys and gals and get the, like, this is what you need to do in order to gain a level of trust that you're not going to hurt this other person by doing, you know, certain moves. Or you could be a Bills fan. You could be a drunken Bills fan. You could do one or the other. A lot of time, dedication, investment, or you just show up in just like some blue stuff, 17 schlitzes, climb to the top of the bus, and then just do your best Macho Man Randy Savage impression. That's fine too. Sports bring it out in people. But like I said, it is a surrogate. It is a psychological surrogate for a lot of deep-seated instinctual animalistic behaviors. And they've been around, and sports as just a thing has been around for a long time. The idea of like physical competition has been around for a very, very long time. And it is a part of human expression. And then people's reactions to it, it is also a part of that human expression. The way that they psychologically process it is a part of the human expression. Stinky facing is a part of tiger expression. Tiger expression. You doing tiger expressions? Yeah. Humans are complicated. They're interesting. I love all of the different ways in which people do express, and especially when it gets into, yeah, there's, I don't know, there's the Shakespearean drama. All of the different things that go into what is actually happening in that moment, in that room, when that guy takes that ladder and chucks it at his own flat screen TV. There's so much to unpack. What's his life like? What's his family? What does his family got to say? Is this an isolated incident, or when everyone else heard, was it just like, doesn't surprise me. Anyway, that's all I got. That's all I got. There's horsies that need to get chopped up so that these guys can eat, because they're hungry, because they're tigers and they like eating horsey. That's what he's watching right now, actually. Thank you for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbus Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website KRescueTexas.com for more information. You keep them tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy. And thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Walk around the compound, stairs.